All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Channels Being Google Plus Hangout. And today we'll be looking at how productive the Nigerian youth is. The general conception or the general presentation of whom the Nigerian youth is has been divided. But while one people are on one side thinking Nigerians or Nigerian youths are unproductive, some on the other side think they are productive and they have done so much to change the society. Today with me on the Hangout, I have Saji. Saji is calling from Washington, D.C. Saji, thanks for joining the Hangout.
You're welcome. I'm
All
glad
right.
to be here, Victor.
And I have Isioma. Isioma is in Abuja in Nigeria. Isioma, good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you very much, Victor.
And also here on the Hangout is Ben. Ben is in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Ben, thank you also for joining the Hangout.
You're welcome.
No, of course. So I'll start with you, Saji. Saji, from your physiology, we can see that you are a foreigner and let me just say somewhere from India, thereabout. What exactly is your interest in Nigeria and why are what's your interest particularly in Nigeria and in Nigerian youths?
Yes, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Victor, for allowing me to be part of this very important discussion. I should introduce myself. I am Saji Prelis. I direct Search for Common Ground's children and youth programs globally. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but as a young person growing up in the mid 80s, I actually lived for 8 years of my life in Nigeria, in northern Nigeria, in Sokoto State, in Birnin Kebbi, where my father was teaching for 12 years. So there's a very soft spot in my heart for Nigeria. Uh, the second reason why I'm part of this is because this is not just a Nigerian issue, this is a global issue. And because of my soft spot, because of the staff who are working with us in Nigeria, we want Nigeria to be like the beacon to show the entrepreneurship, the skill, the leadership potential that young Nigerians already have. And we want Nigeria to be that beacon to the world showing here's the good side of what we have. Here's what we are contributing not only in Nigeria but around the world. And this is an opportunity for that to happen.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. But then, so what exactly do you think of the Nigerian youth? Looking at the fact that most people see, because if you look at all the things that have been happening, armed robbery, some engage so much in alcohol, they're alcoholics basically, and there's just so much vices surrounding the Nigerian youth. How can he move forward?
I mean, that's a question you can ask any country, right? But oftentimes the media only portrays the ugly side of human nature, right? So there are lots of stories like that, but if you really look at the numbers, there are much more young Nigerians and other young people around the world who are choosing to not do violent acts, who are choosing to do good things over bad things. So the campaign and all that is about showcasing the good decisions young people are making, the amazing work that they are doing, so that way more and more people feel like they are part of something greater than themselves, where it is about young people doing good things for their society, contributing in constructive ways in their society. So in Nigeria, I personally think Nigeria is one of the capitals of entrepreneurs. And that's the message that we would love to see share with the world.
Okay, so I'm just in moving on. We have a new caller, Chima Onwe. We can't actually see you. You're back in the light. If you could change your camera or open your windows, we could see what you look like. But just before Chima does that, Isioma, let me come to you. You just heard Saj's feelings about what Nigerian youths can do or what global youths can do. What exactly is your own take in this aspect?
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Victor, for giving us the opportunity to join you in this hangout. And I'm sure that we have majority of our youth listening to us now. I'm equally a youth. I'm not excluding myself. I'm also a youth. Yes. What is it? Like Sadi has said, youths are very, very productive. If you look at the population of the youths in Nigeria as at 2003 population census, we have it at 43% of the total population of Nigerians are youths. What does that tell you? That means that productivity lies in that percentage of our youth. that tells you that Nigeria is also highly productive if the youths are effectively engaged. So why are we doing this? Why do we have interest in the youth? We are looking at the future. We are looking at, unfolding uh, that tank of strength and of ideas, of innovative ideas that they have, that they can use to channel this myth, I call it myth, that youths are always violent, into the tendencies that youth can actually use their potentials for preventing violence. And that is why, as you may have known, since August 1st, we started our hashtag We Choose campaign, part of which is this hangout, and the whole of Nigeria, where we are going about with youths, asking them, what do you choose? And it will amaze you to know that majority of them, they say, we choose peace, we choose love, we choose security, and majority of them also significantly have interest in the politics of the country. So that is what we think that we can actually achieve at the end of this our campaign on hashtag we choose.
Oh, okay, awesome. That's a very good one from your organization. So just to moving forward, Ben, I'll be coming to you, but just before I do that, let me welcome Chima. Chima Onwe, thank you for joining the Hangout and good afternoon. I believe you're calling from Jos in North
Yes,
Central Nigeria. Thank you
thank
for
you,
joining.
Victor. Thank you.
Of course, yeah, sure. So Ben, you just heard from Isioma and Saji. They've gone around asking young Nigerians what they choose instead of violence, and they've chosen peace. They've chosen security, they've chosen so many other things. But the question is, how do they move from where they are to where they want to be?
Okay, I think first and foremost we have to make youth to be more productive because, and I think it's very important in our education, in our university curriculum, we should have a kind of entrepreneurship course or program which we have to engage every student in the school so that by the time you pass through that entrepreneurship program or course as it may be, by the time you graduate, probably you can be productive on your own even without looking up to anybody. But one of the problems I think we have is the high rate of unemployment is one of the major problems we have because once you're idle, I think like they normally say, an idle man is a devil's workshop. You can be easily you can easily be enticed with little amount of money to take up arms. And once a majority of youths are taking up arms into or maybe into any social devices, you find out that the country will be an unsafe place for every one of us to be. Even the rich will not be even cannot even sleep in a kind of society like that. So first and foremost, we have to get to use to be productive, to be employed, because once they are working, I think they will have more time to focus on their own daily life than to think of committing crimes and others. And if you come to look at it on the other aspect, Nigerian youths are productive wherever they go, wherever they are. There are a lot of hustlers everywhere, So even in the same difficult situations in Nigeria, you can still see people trying to hustle on their own, trying to hawk, to do something on their own to see to make sure that they can help their own life. So what we'll be thinking about is what kind of policies should we put in place to help these upcoming Nigerians, these youths that are even on their own, striving so hard to see that they can make an impact in their own lives and in their own families. So I think that is what I can say for now.
All right, Cosmos, thank you for that. I hope we do put those policies just like you have suggested, and to see that we are being able to help those who are coming up, who are struggling to get to where they want to be. But just before I come to you, Chima, I can see that some people are already watching this hangout now on our YouTube stream. You can also be part of this conversation. Just send us a tweet or drop us a message on our Facebook chat using the hashtag WeChoose. That's WeChoose. We choose. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing your comments and making them part of this conversation. So now, Chima, you just heard from Ben. He just gave some suggestions on how we can move Nigerians from where they are to where they want to be. You are in Jos, which is a flashpoint, has been a flashpoint of violence in a couple of years. What is the story in Jos, especially on Nigerian youths who are trying to move from where they are to where they want to be?
There are some programs I normally keep here.
Chima, are you there?
Yes. They are not here. I'm going to keep the white chairs. They are nowhere to be found.
Oh, well, we can't hear him, so I guess we'll move forward and hope to come back to him when he fixes his audio or his internet. Isioma, let me just come to you also, because I mean, Abuja is also somewhere that we've been hearing one or two things, for quite some time now. How do you think these youths can actually move, can actually decide to leave these things they have been doing for quite a number of years, things that they have already are feeling quite comfortable, so to speak, in that vice? How do you think they can move from where they are to where they are choosing now to be?
Okay, thank you very much, Ben, for that wonderful comment. Ben had said that we have unemployment in the country, the youths, every Nigerian youth, they hustle. Let me use that his word, that they hustle and they are out there everywhere hustling. Yes, it's actually in that strength of hustling that we are actually pitching our tents. Is it possible that every youth become meaningfully engaged within the government sector? The answer is no. We have our skills, we begin to look at ourselves inwards. Innovatively, what can you create? What can you do that will make you outstanding, that can engage you productively, that can at the same time make you live a fulfilled life that you want to live without necessarily waiting upon the government, to fix you into a job. For example, if you look at Niger Delta and even in Abuja here, you mentioned a lot of youths, they hang around politicians. What is it they want? They are preparing themselves ahead of the 2015 election. But I tell you, for example, this social media, the Facebook we are using was actually innovatively created by a youth. And today a lot of us are using it to market our products, sell and buy, and then he's making his money in the comfort of his home. Look at the conga now, the conga we have in Nigeria, and then is it the Jumai site that we have? It may also interest you then to know that this was actually created by a youth, thinking out of the box. What is it? For example, in Lagos, in Abuja here, people are thinking, asking questions. How can I necessarily get the things I need without going to the traffic and, of course, exposing myself to the dangers that we find on our streets? And then somebody out there is just thinking, how do I answer this question? And then, of course, what did the person do? He created an online shopping where you can shop and buy in the comfort of your homes. That is what we are actually saying. Youth can actually move from where they are now to where they want to be. But we must begin to look inwards on into ourselves. What skills do I have? What is it I have? Because each and every one of us, we are blessed. And like you said, that we hustle. That hustling that you are doing, how can you positively channel it into so much so that it not only benefits you, but of course to the communities around you? That is why we are gathering a lot of people around us. Come 27th, we are gathering entertainers, people from Nollywood, entrepreneurs, to sit down together. How can we innovatively make our youths productive? So much so that they are able to prevent violence rather than being part of the violence. Thank you.
All right, Isioma, I hope this dream comes to fruition. Saji, talking about, I'll come to you now. Talking about thinking, looking into yourself, as looking from the inside. Now, you have been, of course, like you said, you've been visiting this country since the 80s. How would you advise young Nigerians? Of course, some of them quite, some are uneducated. So that perspective of looking deep might have escaped them, so to speak. How would you advise? How would you ask them? How would you, yes, just say advise them to actually look inside and bring out that best?
Sure. Thank you, Victor. And I also appreciate Ben's comments as well as Fiona's comments also on this. As you asked me this question about what advice could I share with young Nigerians to reflect on who they are, where they're at in their station in life, I think I'll come at it this way. The campaign We Choose, hashtag We Choose, is about recognizing that more and more young people are doing good things, are doing things that are creative, entrepreneurial, are peaceful and nonviolent, and also constructive that enables their society to benefit. Oftentimes, a lot of people want to feel like they want to belong to something greater than themselves. And this movement that we are starting in Nigeria is a turning point where we can actually see how might this young generation, these young people in Nigeria who everyone is saying are entrepreneurial, can engage in a way that is peaceful, that that they can actually shape the prosperity of the nation itself. So there's collective responsibility of Nigerians, instead of waiting for the government or any politician to help them, is to actually take ownership of their own destiny. It's their opportunity to do. I know that there are a lot of challenges. There are a ton of challenges young people face throughout Nigeria, whether they are in Lagos or Jos or Abuja, for example. Yet, it is their only opportunity to do something better for themselves. Sitting around is not going to help them get better. Waiting for someone to hand something to them is not going to make their life better. It's them, despite the challenges, they have to do something. Even if you recognize somebody, young boy on the street begging, someone might see that person as poor and as a victim, he is only begging to make money. But think about the other side of that young boy. He is actually sacrificing his own life to be there to make some money, to do something to better himself, right? Some people might say he's hustling, but he's hustling because of the situation he's in. But yet, he is actually trying to make himself better. This is why I said the Nigerians are the world's capital of entrepreneurs, right? It's a shift in how you look at young people. Do you choose to look at yourself as a victim, or do you choose to look at yourself as a troublemaker, or do you choose to see yourself as a change maker in your society? And that's the opportunity you have. And the campaign is about shaping it as you're not alone in this. You're all part of a bigger movement of making that change happen and changing the history of Nigeria in a way that actually transforms Nigeria to become the entrepreneurial capital and the most prosperous nation in Africa as well as in the world, because of the young generation that is doing that. That's the opportunity.
All right, Saji. Ben, let me come to you. Saji just made mention of the challenges. Of course, you also have spent some part of your life in northern Nigeria, which is quite close to where Saji used to visit. That's Kano, I believe, right?
Yeah. I was born in Kano. I grew up in Kano.
Oh, okay, awesome. So just look at it. I mean, these challenges, they abound, and
Those
yeah.
those challenges those challenges abound, but you have to look at the entrepreneurs we have in Nigeria. If you look at the likes of Aliko Dangote, Femi Otedola, these are entrepreneurs, well-known entrepreneurs that we know all around Africa. If you look at their link, in one way or the other, their success came in contact with government, politicians, or the other way that make them blow up. They didn't just start, but they had a link with government that make them come up that way. So, but now you have to look at that same link they have. Is it that open? Is it that open for every Nigerians to tap into that same resources that made them to be what they are today? And we look at it. We have a ministry of the Ministry of Youth Productivity, or what, labor and productivities, and this is their main job to see. But I don't know how that ministry is working and their plan of work for the year. I don't really know if that, but I just keep seeing the Ministry of Labor and Productivity. I think that ministry, with what my sister here is saying, I think if they can team up with that ministry, I think they will do more. They will get more success than doing it as an individual, because as an individual there's a limit your effort can take you to. But when you have like a strong government body like that ministry behind you, you will do excel. You will go places. You find out that yes, it's a collective effort, but you find out that you have more people coming on board than when you want to do it on your own. I admire and I want to encourage you for that step, for that bold step you people are taking. I'm in support of you. I just want to encourage you. At least we know Nigerians are doing something great, but that ministry should live up to its expectation. That Minister of Labor and Productivity, and we should have to look at. And when you're talking of productivities, we have to look at the people who are you producing for, and those productivities, who are the main people who are going to be productive is the youth we are talking about. Because if you look at from the age of 18 to 45, 50 or 55, this is the age where you have to do something. that will better your life. By the time you're getting to 60, 70, you're almost getting aging, and you just have to relax, and whatever you make at your youthful age, that is what you enjoy when you're getting old. So this is the angle we have to look at things. What is the ministry doing so far? And you want to look at, if you look at from 2000, from year 2000 to date now, you find out that the level of upcoming artists in the music industry has increased so much. Now, forget about what they are singing, but this is a particular place that has made a lot of youth. A lot of youth now are coming into music. I think it's a very good thing. Let's leave what they are singing, whether it is rubbish or not. But I think people like Whiskey and Davido, and these are just recently ones we know. And I'm not talking of P Square and Two Face. No, so they're really doing something. Look at the movie industry. If you look at from 2000 to now, you find out a lot of people have come on board. So Nigerian youth on their own are really doing something. Now let us look at the in area of sport. In area of sport, what are we really doing? We can say we have a lot of potentials, a lot of table tennis player. Like you can see the guy, I've forgotten his name, that almost 45 shots. These are potentials we have. These are ways we can bring you a lot of youth on board to keep them busy, so that you can take them out of crime. Sport is a very good tool. It's a very good tool that we can use, and we know every Nigerian is very. We like sport a lot. We like watching football. Apart from football, table tennis, swimming. There are other games that we are not even participating in the Commonwealth game, like the is it the cycling. We don't have any Nigerian cycler so far, and I like that game very well, which I'll be going for the tournament this month by October, which I registered on my own. I just registered it with about $2,000. I'll be going for the program by October. And this is a game I like. This is my passion. And I'm here. I've seen the opportunity, and I'm keen into it. I want to go for it. At least this will be for my first time. So, but at least Nigerians are doing something. Nigerians, so we should just look at what that youth. I'll encourage my sister, if you can partner with that Ministry of Labor and Productivity, you will do more. Honestly, thank you very much.
All right, Ben. I think is I first of all let me just wish you luck in your competition. That's a lot of money you put in there, and
Yeah.
I do hope you do win and make Nigeria proud. But again, in a nutshell, what you've been trying to say is the issue of opportunities. Bisiama, I would like you to comment on that, but like Chima is back. Let's try and see if we can connect to Chima because he seems to be where the network is not too good. So if we can get a bit of of his thoughts, I think it will be good. Chima, can you hear me? Chima, can you hear me? Hello, Chima, can you hear me? All right, I think Chima is still yet to fix this issue. But so Isama, let me come to you on the issue of, the opportunities that most of these entrepreneurs that are celebrated around the world, had that are not quite available at this moment. How do you respond to this issue?
Thank you, Victor. Permit me to say that these entrepreneurs that Ben just mentioned, the likes of Aliko Dangote and Tedola, it may interest you to know that the opportunities you have now, Ben, that they never had it. Is it the social media? Is it the telephone now the cell phone you have now? You know you can call Nigeria now, call your parents, you see them as I'm seeing you now. At least you are in Malaysia, I'm in Abuja, and I'm seeing you. They never had this kind of opportunity in terms of technology, And then talking about them keying into the government, you need to. What we are saying is, you as a person, first rediscover yourself. Like now, you are talking about the tournament. That is just an aspect of it. And by the time you go to the tournament and you come out with bright colors, automatically, even the government, they will seek after you. Don't you think so? They'll begin to look for you. By the time you look at yourself, what is it you have within you? Forget about the Ministry of Labor and Productivity. What the ministry is there to do in Nigeria is to help youth that have identified their skills to move further. If you have identified your skill that you are very good at shoemaking, but you don't have the wherewithal in terms of money or the materials, and then you go to the ministry, they are able to facilitate that kind of thing. But you don't just sit down and wait for them to come. So what we are saying is, just look inwards. What is it you have? Ideas are very powerful. Ideas are wealth. Begin to build your ideas so much so that you begin to think out of the box. Begin to look at your environment. What is it that I have that I can make use of, that I will use to answer a lot of questions? whether from the youths, whether from children, whether from anybody. What is it that I can use? You know, for example, this ZMAP that we are talking about, this Ebola virus in West Africa now, it is somebody that thought of it innovatively. The first time it happened, and they began to work on that drugs. These are just ideas, and they began to test on it. So first you need to rediscover yourself. There is nothing special about Aliko Dangote or the government seeking him out. But the government sought him out because they found that he has something that will be beneficial to the whole community. And the same thing goes out to all the youth who are listening actually now on YouTube, who are also making their comments. We don't sit back and wait for the government to come to our aid, but you must make use of the environment you have. The opportunities we have now, a lot of us 10 years back, we never had that kind of opportunity. Think about the cell phone when it came to Nigeria, and think about the ease of it. A lot of people now, they don't necessarily need to rent an office to operate their business. They can use their home as their office and operate their business successfully. Thank you, Victor.
All right, Isioma, you did respond to Ben's comments on all the issues of opportunities. But Saji, let me come to you again. For me, as a journalist, even the flight of a bird is a story. You know, so but I mean, there are people who really can articulate their feelings and their thoughts. How do we bridge this gap? Now looking at the fact that some have already made it and some are on the other hand are yet to make it. How do you bridge this gap?
Thank you. Thank you, David. I think, Victor, I think you're asking a very important question and I just want to go back to Isioma's comments as well, because she's absolutely right. You know, the life of young people today is so much better than 5 years ago, of young people 5 years ago or 10 years ago even. But young people growing up today don't know that their life is better today than 5 years ago even. So it's about recognizing the enormous opportunities that are around them. I think Nigerians have an enormous potential of seeing the opportunities. Yet, more and more young people need to see that there is a movement behind that. So it empowers them to actually act on that. So the stories you tell is not only about young people are the ones who have to do it, but the adult duty bearers who also have to play a role in this process, right? So this is that intergenerational um, conflict or the disparity that exists. I see not only in Nigeria but several places where a lot of young people, a lot of adults who make it, forget that the door that they open to get through is they close it behind them. They forget to keep it open for other people to come through, right? So so when this is what the spirit of this hashtag We Choose campaign is about, is to show that this is a journey that is not only the responsibility of young people, but the adult duty bearers also have to bear some responsibility in this, where they have to work collectively. Why is that important? It's important because the lives of adults are dependent on the benefits that young people have. The lives of young people benefit from the adults. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. But what adults see is the adults care about themselves only, some of the powerful people. But their power is dependent on the followers. So the legacy that older generations have to leave behind needs to be brought out very clearly so they see that their behaviors, their actions affect not only themselves but their families and everybody else. So 10 years from now, what would the history books say about these big men, about these decision makers? Their legacy is important, and we need to recognize the legacy they leave behind will be talked about for many generations to come. That's the opportunity all the generations have to seize on, to leave a better mark in society, and enables young people to feel empowered, to feel like those role models that Ben was talking about can actually inspire to get more people to be role models. So it's that generational discussion, the generational dialogue needs to happen at multiple levels. And the hashtag We Choose campaign is one piece of that that enables young people to feel like they're part of something bigger. And it builds the confidence in adults to feel like it's okay for me to actually do something that enables the legacy that I want to leave behind to be very strong. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, you did. But let me just go forward now and moving forward. I'll take one comment or so from the social media, from Twitter actually. Someone is saying, okay, Achimawe is saying, youth as the most vibrant population in society have a strong force to inspire constructive development. He adds that we choose to build and not to spoil. I think that's a very good one from Chima. Chima is actually supposed to be on this hangout. So for those of you also watching on our YouTube stream, I think you should also send your comments using the hashtag WeChoose and telling us what young Nigerians can do to move from where they are right now to that at where we want them to be. So I'll come to you, Isioma. Okay, Isioma, you're joining again, but let me just come to you on this. Talking about opening doors. Isioma, are you there? Hello, Isioma, are you there? All right, Ben, I think I should let me direct this to you.
Okay.
Yeah, talking about opening doors, of course, by those who have made it, that like the icons or those who are well celebrated in, of course, the world now. How have you seen that happen? Looking at the fact that quite some 10, 15 years ago, we weren't hearing the names of Aliko Dangote or Femi Otedala, as you mentioned. How would you say the previous generation before them had opened these doors for people like them to key into?
Well, what is there is that based on when they started, we have to look at for every entrepreneur, you have to look at it. We have to look at their track record, and we have to look at what was obtainable then. Like like I do say, if you watch Nigeria today, if you're not really connected politically, you hardly find something to you that easy. It's a clear fact that we are facing.
Yeah, okay.
You cannot compare them or you having the opportunity and like the ordinary man on the street. You have to walk and keep walking until you come to a spotlight where they can say, okay, this is it. And even sometimes you have to make some terrible compromise for you to just come up. But come to look at it, unfortunately now we have kind of social media, Twitter, the Facebook, everything where we can easily market our product, whatever ideas we have. But the issue is this: for any idea you have, you have to channel it on one angle. What I'm saying is that a platform we need to create a platform whereby upcoming Nigerians who are really who have the zeal and who wants to invest, who wants to be productive and bring out whatever idea they have in a level playing field where they can really showcase what they have and how to help them take them off from there. We have so many. If you go to Aba, for instance, we have so many shoemaker companies, so many of them individuals on the shop. Nobody's looking at them. We don't patronize what they are producing because probably we think it's low quality or is not up to standard. We choose to buy the ones made from Italy and the rest of them. But we forgot, though it's true, we have like companies like Gucci, Versace, and the rest of them, which we enjoy to wear them a lot. And we look at what we have at home. How long? I mean, what policies have been put in place to promote these ones that are producing these shoes like the Abba made? They call it Abba made, and because it's not as strong. Well, I don't really know. I don't know. We have to. That's what I'm saying. The government have to also play have a role to play in this. As an individual, you're starting. You may not have the capital enough to support yourself, but at least there should be a level playing ground for everybody to work on himself. Those who really want to who really want to be entrepreneurs, who are future, who are business minded people, who want to better their lives and also contribute their own quota to our own economy and to the whole society in general. We have to give them a level playing ground so that where they can easily access informations, loans and whatever that will help them, in doing whatever they want to do in life. That's all I can say.
All right, Ben. I do hear you and I do understand your pain and your feeling about what all the things. But Isioma, let me come to you. Looking at the fact that Ben has been harping on the issue of godfatherism would you say that level playing ground is there actually for people to excel, for young Nigerians to excel?
Thank you very, Victor. The question is a yes and no, depending on where you are, who you are, and more importantly, what you have made of yourself. You know, if you distinguish yourself, like I had earlier said, people will look for you, opportunities will look for you once you distinguish yourself. The important thing first is to discover yourself, know what you want to do, and
Okay, I think Isioma is actually having some problems. Saji, can you just bail her out before she gets her acts right?
Can you ask the question again, please?
Okay, because Ben was harping on the issue of godfatherism being a major contributor to a reason why young Nigerians don't really find, that opportunity to explore the potentials they have. How do you see that playing in terms of those who have who have godfathers and those who don't, having the level playing ground to explore themselves?
Sure. And I mean, it's a difficult question to answer, but I go back to my previous comment. Look at that young boy on the street who is selling stuff, hustling to make a buck by selling bubble gum or chewing gum or something else. What is that young boy doing? Is he doing? It's how we look at that situation, right? To level the playing field, obviously there needs to have better policies. Can a young person start a business quickly? Do the banks give better loans quickly to young people? Do they trust them? Yes, those things have to be there. But at the same time, young people need to feel like they can do it. And this is why that We Choose campaign is important, because more and more people get to see the potential young people have, the amazing things that young people are doing. And that's what that movement is about. So that young boy on the street who is hustling, or the young girl in northern Nigeria who is against all odds trying to cross dividing lines and go from Muslim to Christian society communities to talk to each other, is doing an amazing thing. It's recognizing, despite the odds, despite the challenges, more and more young people are doing that, and to celebrate that, so that when the young boy on the street sees this, he also feels like he can do it as well. That's what these campaigns are about. It's empowering people. You know, you don't need a lot of money to do that.
All right. Okay. All right, Saji. Isioma, I can see you're back.
yeah.
I'll take your submission lastly, and then we have to round up this conversation. So just like I was saying, godfatherism, how does that give those who have godfathers and those who don't the level playing ground to bring that stuff in them out?
Okay, just going back on my comment, what I had said is yes, godfatherism exists, but the question to ask is godfatherism may lead you to the top there, but would it sustain you? And which is the key thing there? You may climb through the ladder, but what you need is to remain on top of the ladder. But events have shown, and from the examples that are banned in Nigeria, godfatherism never sustains anybody when they get to the top. So the only thing that can get you to the top, Ben and other youths who are actually listening out there, is the skills that you have in you and how much you have used them to better the lives of people around you and also yourself. So what we are looking at is, don't look at people, don't look at godfatherism, don't make excuses. There's no excuse for any youth not to succeed. There is just no excuse. All we need to do is to look around and look inwards. What is it we have in ourselves that we need to unleash? And that is why the event we are holding on Wednesday, bringing all youth together from all walks of life, that is part of what we are going to discuss. What are the innovative ways that we need to begin to apply to prevent youth violence in Nigeria? That is just what I'll have to say. Please stop looking at godfatherism. Don't hope on anybody, but look at the gifts that in your hands that you can actually use to excel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isioma. I'll take one more comment from Twitter before we round this conversation. Someone says, in a society where greed, corruption, and injustice thrives, as Nigerian youth, we choose integrity and fairness as basis for success. Well, that is where we are right now, but I'm sorry we have to close this conversation now, and I do hope that Nigerian youths choose to do better things rather than remain where they are in their comfort zones of doing things that are not really right and acceptable to the society. Once again, I am Victor Matthias, and today I had with me Saji Prelis from Washington, D.C., Isioma Kemakolam. I hope I pronounced your name properly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. You're in Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you for joining the Hangout. And Ben Cosmos in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Thank you all for joining this Hangout, and I hope to see you guys soon again.